everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. It's day 10 of the 12 days of Star Wars. So today we're looking at the Hallmark Star Wars X-Wing Starfighter Keepsake Ornament with lights, released in 1998. Now, for those who don't know, the X-Wing made its first on-screen appearance in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Now, the cool thing about this ornament is it's not just a generic X-Wing starfighter. No, this is Luke Skywalker's Red 5, seen during the Battle of Yavin. And yes, it does feature a little R2-D2, so that's awesome. Size-wise, this fighter measures in at 5 inches long, so that is great. So you guys should know the drill by now. We're going to take a quick look at the box, and then we'll take a look at the ship's mold, paint, check out those lights, hang it from a tree, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Alright, having a quick look at the box, we can see the top here, Hallmark Keepsake Ornament, beautiful image of the ornament itself, features lights, X-Wing Starfighter, TM, Star Wars TM, magic, blank on this side, price tags off on that side. At the top, we have Hallmark Keepsake Ornament, and then it's celebrating 20 years. Well, I'm sorry, 25 years, my bad. Pretty cool. On the bottom, we do have some copyright crap. And on the back of the box, we do have a nice write-up, so if you'd like to pause and read it, go right ahead, and then continue when you're done. And at the bottom, it does say handcrafted, dated 1998. So that does it for the box. So now let's crack this box open and look at that beautiful ornament. And here we have the X-Wing out of the box, and I have to say at first glance, I am pretty impressed. Now, is it perfect? No, the nose cone looks a little weird, and it's kind of weirdly proportioned, but what are you going to do? It's handcrafted, and for that, it doesn't look that bad. So, like in all my ornament reviews, I will go over all the major sections of the vessel, and we'll get nice and close to see all the fine details. So, obviously, we have our nose cone. On the sides here, we have our torpedo launchers. Pretty nice. We have our canopy / cockpit, little Luke Skywalker, astromech, aka R2-D2, ornament loop, or S-foil mechanisms, looking very nice. Then we have our engines with the intakes in the front, looking good. Exhaust with translucent plastic, that is the light up feature, so that's pretty sharp. We have our 4 wings, and 4 laser cannons, which do look very nice. I think they came out great. On the bottom of the vessel, we have copyright crap, our cargo hold, some nice detailing down there, and our electrical cord. Now, when plugging this light in, it will not work on the LED cord, so I recommend going to a dollar store or Walmart, getting old-time Christmas lights, plugging it in, and it will function. And how do I know that? Because I had to go to different stores to find an all strand of lights because I misplaced my one from last year. So, that does it for all the major sections of this fighter. So now let's get a close-up look. Alright, let's begin our closer look with the nose cone, which has a little recess here, and some minor line work going around. Looking pretty good. Now, I think it's sculpted a little off. As you can see, it's facing down. I don't know, something's not right there. But looking at the side of the fuselage, we can see some nice paneling lines. There's a little mark for the torpedo launcher. More line work, and I love this section right here next to the engines. Pretty nice. Looking at the other side, it's basically mirrored. You can see all that nice line work. Torpedo launcher. Pretty cool. Now looking at the top of the fuselage, again, some nice line work. I like this section right here. Pretty cool. We have our translucent plastic canopy with some nice line work on there. In the interior, we can see some controls and Luke Skywalker. And if you look real close, you can see he does have a nose there. Pretty cool. Also, there's a seat in back of him as well, and his helmet is nicely done. Moving back, we have R2-D2 molded nicely. I think that came out great. Then we have lots of line work and different modules here for the S-foil engines. Pretty cool. Ornament loop as well. Then coming to the back of the ship, again, more S-foil mechanisms. Looking good. Look at all that detail. Nice job there. Then on the bottom of the ship, we have our light cables. Sadly, these do not come out unless you cut them. What are you going to do? But look at all that nice molding right there. Some raised sections. Beautiful stuff. Then we have our door right here for the cargo hold. I guess we could call it that. Pretty cool. Then we have our copyright crap, 1998. Pretty nice. Actually, if you guys want to read that, let me turn it for you. Cool. And moving to the front, we do have some nice designs here. Sick. So now let's take a look at the wings. Now, before I get to those engines and wings, I do have to bring up one thing. The engines, the wings, the laser cannons, and the thrusters are all the same exact mold. Whoever sculpted this, I believe it was Dill Rhodes, the same guy who did Boba Fett, just made one wing and mirrored it 4 times. So what I'm going to do to make this video more time efficient is spend a lot of time on one wing, and then we'll look at the thrusters, and then we'll just glance over the rest of the ship. So let's get moving. Starting off, you can see the engine intake, which is nicely molded here. Pretty nice, and just like I said before, everything is mirrored. There's no differences between the 4 engines at all. Now, to the front of the wings, we do have some nice molding coming down here. I will give it that. I like this quite a bit. That's a little excess glue, don't mind that. But very nice. Coming down, you can see the rest of the wing is pretty flat. All the way back to the aft of the ship, where we can see some nice molding back here. Excellent. And just like I mentioned, it is for the most part the same all over the ship. Same designs and everything. Now moving to the interior of the wing, you can see some nice engine pieces right here. Some hoses and different modules looking good. Coming down, we do have some minor line work looking good. And then 2 recess sections. I think that came out great. And again, that is the same for each wing. There's not much any difference between them. But I do like the interiors right there. I will give the guy that. He did a good job with the engine pieces. So let's look at the top of the wings now. We have our engine pieces, which this looks fantastic. Look at all that beautiful molding. Just a great job. Very cool. I love this piece as well. Has to be at least 20-something little cubes there. Looking good. Some modules, raised sections, and some paneling lines. Very nice. And then we have our laser cannon. So let's take a look at that. Again, beautifully done. I like this section here. Great stuff. Let's look at the front. Look at that. Awesome. Do have some raised sections on there. I like the back as well. Pretty cool. And we have the front with that nice detailing. And then the barrel of the laser cannon. Nice. I think that came out great. And just like before, it is the same for each and every laser cannon. There's no difference. Alright, let's wrap this part of the video up by looking at the thrusters. And I have to say, they do look okay. There is a lot of molding on here. We can see some pipes, different sections. Looking good. But my favorite part is obviously the back. We can see some translucent plastic in there. Looking good. Know what it reminds me of? Like one of those juicers where you cut the lemon or orange in half and then you juice it on there. That's what it looks like. And then I'm sure I'm going to forget that there's gray paint here, so keep that in mind when I'm going over the paint. It is very thin. I didn't even see the paint there before. But nice. And I love the design around it. Awesome. Now just like before, these engines are all the same. There's no differences at all. Actually, they're all facing the same way. As you can see, the design on here, let me get it so, there we go. See how everything's facing like that? Then we go to this one, it's facing the same way, but if we go on this side, there's just one little pipe, and then one little pipe, so a little lazy. So that does it for the molds. Now let's take a look at the paint. Now looking at the paint of the X-Wing Starfighter, this baby features about 11 different colors. First one up is a nice off-white or extremely light gray for the main color of the ship. Pretty nice color choice, I think that came out great. Now on top of that, we do have dark gray for the engine intakes, fronts of the laser cannon bases, the tips of the laser cannons, and also the back of the engines. Now that dark gray is also inside the canopy for the control panels, so that's pretty awesome. Moving on, the ship does have a tiny bit of airbrushing, and you can see it over some of the engine components and the wings, looking good. and that adds a little realism. Everything in the original trilogy looked used and dirty. Now that airbrush is also in back of the nose cone on the fuselage right here, so pretty cool. Speaking of the fuselage, on there we do have some red on the sides. Looking good, nice bright color. That red is also on the wings with the call sign for 5, which is sick. Now besides that red, we do have a little yellow, almost like a gold color. And that's basically just on the front of the ship. It's nowhere else. See? Now besides those colors, we do have silver and blue for R2-D2, which his paint is really clean. It came out good. And finally, we have Luke Skywalker himself. And I want to get a close-up of that. Alright, getting as close as I can to see Luke Skywalker in the cockpit. Check out all the colors on his helmet. We have a gold visor, silver, red, white, and some black. So that's awesome. He has a nice light skin tone. We can see his nose right there. For his jumpsuit, we have the orange and white. Awesome. And while I'm here, why not take one more look at R2-D2? Great paint job there. Very nice, very clean. Sick. And that's everything I have to show for the mold and the paint. So now, let's check out the lights on this baby before we hang it on the tree. Alright, to power up your X-Wing Starfighter, you're going to need your power cord right here. Grab your strand of lights, plug it in like so, and you should be good to go. And here we have the X-Wing all lit up. Now it would be cool if the cockpit lit up, but it is what it is. But as you can see, we have 4 red lights for the engine exhaust points, or the thrusters if you will. So now, let's shut off the lights at my station, and we'll see how bright these really are. Now with those lights off, here we have the illuminated engines, and I have to say it looks a hell of a lot better. Imagine if it had LEDs in there, oh boy. So I guess you could say that was very illuminating. So now let's hang this guy from a tree. To hang your X-Wing Starfighter, you're going to need an ornament hook like so. Slide it in the loop. Of course I can't get it. There we go. Pinch the top so it doesn't fall off. And hang it in a tree just like so. And then you're good to go. And that's day 10 of the 12 days of Star Wars. Today I took a look at the Hallmark Star Wars X-Wing Starfighter Keepsake Ornament with lights released in 1998. And for the ship size, it comes in at 5 inches long, which is actually very nice. So what I'm going to do is go over some of the things I don't like, and then for the rest of the ornament, I'm pretty happy with it. So here we go. Alright, first of all, I don't really care for the nose cone. Something's off about it. I don't know if it's tilted at a wrong angle, or the ship just comes too acute in the front. Moving on, we have the wing. Each engine, wing, and laser cannon are all mirrored off of each other, making them 100% the same. Now, if we look at an X-Wing with landing gear, the engines do look a little different on the bottom. This one does not have that whatsoever. So that's okay, you know, I could accept that at least, because, you know, the winds are up, it's hanging from a tree, it's doing the job, it looks fine. But one thing that really irritates me is the thrusters in the back, the exhaust if you will. Each little nozzle you see there are all the same exact piece, and I'm not talking about one's mirrored. No, it's all the same. They're all facing the same way with their detail, and it makes me scratch my head and go, why did you not just make 2 and then mirror another 2 so at least the pipes and details are facing the opposite directions, but they're not. They're all the same, and that really burns me. So that's basically everything I don't like about the ornament. But what do I like? First of all, let's talk about the mold. I do enjoy it quite a bit. I think the detailing is awesome. Panel line, little recesses, molded sections on the engines look great. The wings are fine. The laser cannons look awesome. And I do like the cockpit and the R2 unit. Nicely done. Paint-wise, a fantastic job. I love the off-white, the gray, the red, the yellow, and R2 and Luke Skywalker are painted very nicely for the size, so that's commendable. And finally, the lights. You know, some people may think, oh, that's cheap, it's just the back of the ship. But you know what? When we turn those lights off, you can see that red light beam out of those thrusters, and that looks awesome. I will admit, I would love to see what this looks like with some red current LEDs in there. That would look sharp. So that's everything I have to say about this ornament today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope to see you tomorrow for another Star Wars Hallmark review. Bye, everybody.